What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Another edition of Drive for Show DFS for Dough here on Rotogrinders. I am Justin Van Zuiden, aka STL Cardinals 84, and we're coming off the Open Championship last week. We've got the 3M Open this week, and we've got a three-man booth back in business here this week. So we will be talking about the aforementioned 3M Open. We'll introduce my two co-hosts as well. We've got Mr. Matthew Wiley on one side. Joining us again, you might remember he was on maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago with us. So glad to have him back. Golflandia podcast, great stuff as always. Check him out on Twitter. Wiley, what's going on tonight?
What's up, man? Sorry, my backdrop sucks. I didn't prepare for this at all. I got a ladder.
That's all right. It's bringing the color.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, happy to have you back.
Thanks, man.
We've got Noto as well on one side. Noto, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Just got back from Nashville. That was a lot of fun. We played a little scramble out there, and my team did better than my DFS teams. So that doesn't really bode well for my bankroll. But yeah, the Open Championship was awesome. The course was, I don't know, nothing seemed really special about it to me, but I always loved the Open. And then it ended up being a pretty big weather draw. It was kind of opposite of what most people were expecting. So just something to keep in mind for next year. Always stack both sides of that weather draw.
Yeah, Colin Morikawa, congrats to him. Just impressive what he's been able to do in these major championships at his age. I mean, he's 24. He had a stretch of 22 consecutive make cuts to start his career. He's got a couple majors, like he's checking off everything on the bucket list at 24 years old. Jordan Spieth charging hard on Sunday, and he goes out. Morikawa shoots a bogey-free round and just locks the door. Really impressive stuff from him. Of course, Louis comes close again, and Spieth would have been right there if not for a little bit of a shaky start on Sunday. So, Wiley, how was Open Championship week for you?
I wanted to state publicly I have forgiven Daniel Rappaport for his article on Colin Morikawa. He said that Colin was going to not play his irons well. And I think I faded him because of that. But I've forgiven Daniel for that article that he wrote on Colin Morikawa, which I think was a lot of people who read Daniel took a lot of weight with that. So, I mean, not playing an 8,000 range, minimal ownership, best iron player in the world at a course that demands it is probably a me problem. So I will not blame. Yes, me and Noto. I will not blame him for losing me millions, but he did.
Well, that'll happen. I was fortunate enough to have Morikawa in my player pool, which salvaged something, but I of course stuck to my guns at not playing 30% owned Spieth. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me last week. Noto, how about you?
Yeah, Morikawa. I mean, man, looking back, it just seems so obvious we should have played him. I don't know how I missed that. I think I was just scared off by the Scottish Open. I think he made the cut and kind of fell apart on the weekend. But yeah, like Matthew mentioned, best iron player in the world. And those greens were so slow. He could just be aggressive with all those putts. And he's one of those guys that has those spike weeks of putting. He's not a good putter if you look at the raw stats, but 5 weeks he'll lose strokes putting, and then the next week he'll gain 6 or something like that. So yeah, and the crazy part, he has more wins in his professional starts than missed cuts. I saw that stat on Twitter. I wish I could give know who it was, but that's pretty impressive. And I feel for Louis, man. He just he's there every single time and just runs out of gas on Sunday. So yeah, overall, I thought it was fun, and it's crazy. The season's almost over. We're gearing up for the playoffs here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, time flies, of course, and then we just move on to another week. And the Olympics next week. I was kind of surprised that the PGA Tour doesn't have an alternate field event next week, given how close it is to the playoffs. But alas, that's next week. We'll worry about that then. Plenty to get through tonight, and if you're watching us live, we are probably going to breeze through this maybe a little bit faster than usual. Maybe not. I mean, we've got a pretty weak field for the 3M Open, but we do have a live NBA show concurrent with the finals game tonight. So that's why we are taping a little bit earlier and why the show might be a little bit shorter tonight. But we will still get you all the information you need to know for the 3M Open and any other takeaways from last week's major. Stewart Sink cratering on Friday. Noto, I know you mentioned that hurt some of your lineups as well last week.
Yeah, I went with Sink in Maine. I think he was in 4th place after Thursday, and then put up a snowman. So that hurt. The rest of my team was garbage anyway, so didn't end up costing me any money. But nothing like a Friday tilt when you think you're getting 6 to 6.
That was especially when he was 4 under. You didn't expect him to miss the cut.
2 more blacklisted players for my rosters. Stewart Sink, 1.
Yeah.
Brendan Grace, 2.
He also made it 8, right?
Yes, he did, Derek. Thank you. He made
was
it
an 8?
Yes, it was a big 8. It put him out of the whole tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that he had a big number. I couldn't remember if it was a 7 or an 8, but
it was an 8.
Wiley remembers.
Yes, because my whole enterprise depended on Grace, of course, the sleeper insider low 7s pick. I love Poulter, but I also love Grace, so I had those 2 side by side. And of course, Matthias Schwab, but that's on me. But it's Big Stu Sink. I mean, also with majors, can we not get more weather created by someone? Right? It seemed a little, well, the U.S. Open as well. U.S. Open just seemed like Farmers National too. And this, the Open in July, it's like tropical now. These guys were just pin hunting. I know they said the pin placement was tough, but Morikawa still shot what? 14 under?
15, I think, was it? Or 14?
15 under?
Well, one of those
15,
2 numbers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not bitter at anyone or anything.
Bogey free round. Impressive stuff. It's not what you are. Like, when's the last time there's been an Open with 45 guys under par? Somebody's gonna look it up and tell me it was 2 years ago, but it doesn't happen very often. So it's Birdie Fest. We'll continue this week. So we've got another John Deere Classic lined up here for TPC Twin Cities.
Thank you.
Saw your tweet about that earlier, and I kind of agree. So it's another TPC course, and we've seen it twice, and the winning score has been 21 under and 19 under, something like that.
Correct.
Cut line 2-3 under par. It's gonna be another festival of birdies. So Noto, why don't you lead us into the course a little bit here?
Yeah, not really a strong course fit by any means. The fairways are easy to hit here. They're pretty wide. The greens are easy to hit here. If you look at the top 20 finishers, each of the last 2 times it was played here, strokes gained around the green didn't mean anything toward your finishing position. So I'm throwing that out this week. You're gonna have to putt well. These birdie fests often turn into pitch and putt contests, but a lot of the approach shots going to be hit from 175 to 200 and from 200 plus. I don't know what to think about proximity numbers in general, but I think I wish we had strokes gained approach data broken out into different yardage categories. I think that'd be really neat. But yeah, so I'm just looking for birdie makers. The course is pretty long, 7,400 yards. So distance off the tee certainly won't hurt. Just got to make a lot of birdies. They usually have a stronger take on the course, but not this week.
Wiley, you got anything specific on the course that you want to mention?
Yeah, so there's a lot of, I think a lot of people are tilted from the Open Championship, so they've become more argumentative this week. And I'm sort of pulling that thread a little bit on Twitter. But I agree with Derek. It's a birdie fest. You had 2019 Wolf won. He had 26 birdies, 1 eagle. He's 21 under. And anytime it's in the 20s under par to win, it's a birdie fest. Wide fairways, minimal rough, length off the tee and approach. It's tree-lined parklandedness, Minnesota style. beautiful conditions, wind can pick up. The one deciding factor for defense is water. And so you'll see a contradiction in terms of statistics on this course, right? So if you look at the toughest courses on the PGA Tour stats from 2019, 2020, this course, Twin Cities, produced the most birdies out of any course on the tour roster. And I know that some, like Nicholas Course and La Quinta, you only play twice. I get that, people on Twitter, but this produced 2,000 birdies. By the way, Keen Trace and Barbasol, for reference, produces 114 eagles, which is like 2 to 3 times the average tour stop, just for reference. But the other part of this, the interesting part, the contradiction part, is that it also produces 150 double bogeys or 37 other shots, which are not like albatrosses or hole-in-ones or aces. They are, quads. And why is that? Well, there's water on 13 holes. And my argument is, and I was talking about that one great account on Twitter. I have a terrible memory, so I can't pull it up. But he talked about guys who play well at courses with a lot of water. And it connected with me because I've talked to a few tour players and a caddy tonight about that tweet, is that some players on tour, and he agrees, and they agree, some players on tour, water just affects them more in terms of their state of mind and playing the course. It just gets in their head. I know one player on tour has said, listen, I'd rather play any other course. I accept Bay Hill because the water is just in my grill. And so that stat that he put up of players who play well at courses with a lot of water really resonated with me. And so, we'll get to the point of it, but I may fade some of the players on the last page of his roster, because two of the players, 25% of the worse than double bogey holes in 2019, I believe, or 2020, 25% of them came from 2 or 3 players. Guys who just could not get over the water.
Will you forgive him if one of those guys on the last pages ends up winning? Like you did,
No,
Daniel
I'll quit
Rappaport.
Twitter. I will quit Twitter for the guy who's arguing with me from that one website who's a PGA analyst. No, I'll quit Twitter. Who's it got to be then, Derek? It's got to be like Sebastian Kaplan.
Yeah,
well,
and
now everybody has a vested interest now.
It's Bo Van Pelt. That's who's got to win. If Bo Van Pelt wins, he is the worst statistically on courses with a lot of water.
Actually, the worst, who's not in the field, Eric Lynn brought him up in the chat. Ryan Palmer, he said, no surprise he's not here.
Really?
I don't know for sure, but
it feels like it. It feels like it. All right, well, let's get into it here and talk about this field, which is somewhat of a dumpster fire in terms of skill level on the whole, which is not unexpected the week after a major. But we do have some people coming over from the Open to play this week. Patrick Reed had plenty of time to get over here after missing the cut last week, so he's fine. No thanks to my lineups on a week where I played him. That surprises nobody. But in any case, we've got DJ, surprising that he's playing this week, but maybe trying to rebound from last year where he withdrew due to injury during this tournament. You've got Oosthuizen, a little bit surprised to see him in the field as well. Finau and Reed are our 10K plus options on DraftKings. So Noto, where are you looking with those top 4?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I don't love anyone above 9K. Like usually I start there and then build from there. But I like a lot of the guys in the 8s and I like a lot of the guys in the 7s. So I'm going to have to eventually go up to the guys at the very top. I think if I'm picking one, I'll probably eat the chalk with DJ. I know that ownership's going to be high, but I'm hoping the withdrawal here last year where he shot like a 78 on Thursday and just went home. I hope that'll help a little bit throughout the week. We'll see. I did see another thing about, I think it might have been that same PJ Splits saying how well people play the week after majors, and DJ was like number 1 in the field, which you would expect given his talent. But I do like that he has played well the week after majors. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Finau. I always like Finau, especially at a birdie fest, especially not on Bermuda greens. And then I don't have a strong take on Reed. Similar to you, Justin, we never get him right. So whatever we do this week, the listeners should do the opposite. And yeah, I'll save Louis for for Wiley, because he was talking about him before the show.
Yeah, I know Matthew was talking about Louis. So Wiley, what do you think about Oosthuizen? Seems like your favorite here.
Yeah, I mean, I found that in these tournaments where you've got to make 26 birdies or more, some of this top price talent, it's tough for them to produce that for the amount that you're investing in them. I did see that Dustin Johnson on that list of players who play well on courses with water, he was number one. Not surprisingly, he's the best, number one golfer in the world. But I can never get Reed right. I agree. Finau, obviously, none of us can get right. I agree. The ownership projection, at least on Lineup HQ, can I reveal this number, or is this proprietary?
No, we can throw some of them out there. It's fine.
I'm new here. I don't know. I should like tease it out. Go sign up for the ownership for Louis. It's 12%. Like in terms of like GJ's 26, Louis 12. I mean, Louis still wants to win in the United States. He wants to win, period. That's probably who I'd be looking at. I mean, if you want a guy who's going to avoid the big blow up holes, which is what you have to do here, you've got to avoid the double, triple, quad, going the drink too many times holes. And I think Louis is the guy that can do that. Louis can win by 10. That's my point.
Louis by 10. You heard it here first.
After shooting 30 under.
Yeah, birdie every other hole, and then that gives you room for a few bogeys. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit weird. I mean, you can make the narrative say, the week after a major, fatigue and all that, and that's what's contributing to that ownership, being down, and his history of withdrawing, even though he hasn't done it as much lately. Knock on wood if you're playing him this week, but that's probably what's contributing to that a little bit. So otherwise, I don't have a strong take. I mean, I think any one of these guys is certainly capable of, dominating, but courses like this where you just got to make a lot of birdies. I mean, a lot of times it's just going to come down to who avoids the water, as the guys were mentioning, and, who rolls in the most putts. So let's go ahead and move into the 9K range, which I agree. It just seems a little uncomfortable. I mean, Wolf, I know, he won here and it's great, but 9,700, he took a mental break, and I don't know. That's just a lot to pay for Matthew Wolf. Tringali, his form has dipped a bit. Yeah, Cam Davis, Bubba Watson, like it just doesn't feel great targeting a lot of these guys. Bobby Mack, good performance from him last week. Robert McIntyre at 9K. Was a bit surprised to see him make the trip back over here, but 8th place finish last week. And he's actually got top 20s in 4 of his last 8 starts and made the cut in all 8 of them when you combine his Euro Tour and PGA Tour results. So, Wiley, what do you like in the 9Ks here?
So I've called this range. I wrote this down. This is a branding genius move. I call it the Bermuda Tringale. Oh, it's weak.
I like it.
It's not bad. But you had names in here that guys you want to play but never should play, or if you do play, you never get right. Sergio, Wolf, Tringale. Have you ever played Tringale correctly? You don't play him, he misses a cut. You do, or you don't play him and he gets 12 eagles. Griot, Cameron Davis, Bubba. It's extremely I mean, Sergio, going back to the major side, he missed after his Masters win, I think 11 of his last 14 major cuts. I feel like he's in this quasi retirement. I mean, now he's close to 10K at this course. Wolf playing a ton better, but risky. Tringale, I like, but ownership high. I mean, even a lot of the ownership of these guys is pretty high considering their price, and they're sort of mid-tier guys to me. Cam Davis, I think he's probably a little too high. Bubba Watson, never can get Bubba Watson right. Gerald B. Watson. So I don't know about. I'm going to defer to Derek on this because I can't.
This field is just full of the guys that everybody always gets wrong.
Right. This could be a skip. Could be a full skip range.
I mean, yeah, Noto, you kind of hinted at that earlier that you didn't really like this range either.
Yeah, don't love the range. I wanted to get you guys' takes on, do you give a bump to the guys that didn't play in the Open last week? So in this range, it'd be Wolf. He just withdrew just to practice for this event, right? And then Bubba had to withdraw because of somebody he knew
COVID
had
exposure.
COVID. And then Cam Davis, I don't think, was in the field last week. Do you think
Although
that's
he was over there, I think Cam Davis was over there because he ended as the first alternate.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's
he might
good
have
to
been
know.
he might have been over there.
I'd probably play. I mean, out of all of them, I would probably play Wolf. I never ever play Wolf, but it seems like he's turned a corner a little bit. He obviously won here before. He can put up a ton of birdies. I'm not sure the winner comes from this range. You know, I'd much prefer playing a little higher because I think there's some a little lower that you can bounce out your lineups with.
Yeah, I mean, you get into the the 8Ks don't feel as overpriced as the guys in the 7Ks because the skill differential among them all. You just gotta fill out the salary tiers based on the odds, but there's not a huge amount of difference between some of these 9K golfers on DraftKings and some of the 8K guys. So
can you edit out that I call it the Bermuda Tringale? I really regret saying
that. Yeah, no, it's permanently in the archives now. Permanently to be archived in the Rotogrinders YouTube channel. All right. Well, Noto, any other takes on the 9Ks? Otherwise, we can you can go ahead and move into the 8Ks a little bit.
I mean, if you take out the name, for whatever reason, people hate playing Cameron Tringale, and then people hate people that played Cameron Tringale. They call them the Tringale slappies on Twitter, and I just don't get it. I mean, look at his stats; they're just awesome across the board in this field. Top 5 in birdie or better, bogey avoidance, strokes gained total top 7. One of the better putters in the field. So, I mean, I like him. I know he's expensive, but I'll probably have some of him. We've always been playing him pretty much all year, usually in the 7K range, but. Yeah, I think he's kind of found some form over the last couple of events. I like Bubba just as a tournament play, and then I'll probably play some Wolf as well. Dipping down into the 8s. Yeah, I don't think I can play Ricky here. He seems to just have that one round every single event where it just takes him out of it. I like Patton Kazire a lot. He's been red hot with the irons, really good putter. I like those guys that can gain a lot of strokes puttings in these events, just because if you don't. Like Keegan Bradley, I think he's going to play well this week, but I don't know if he's going to make enough putts to finish at 22 under par, what I think it's going to need, to win the event. So I like guys like Kazire. I think McNeely's certainly interesting. He's been a lot better on longer courses than shorter courses, and on easy courses, he's been very good as well. He's kind of rounded into form too, 4 straight top 30s. So I think he makes some sense. And yeah, that's some of my only strong takes there. I do think Luke List is going to be the chalk after back-to-back top 5s. And if I've learned anything, don't play Luke List when he's chalk. It just doesn't seem to work.
Yeah, I'll probably be regretting that one this week because I did not expect the ownership to be that high, but I wrote him up and I got to stick to my guns there. So I will, for better or worse, play some. Wiley, your thoughts on the 8Ks here?
Yeah, I agree on List. We're all huge List fans, but he's mid to late 30s now. We felt like he was 22 and just coming on the tour, but it just seems like, as talented as he is, I don't know if he's just. I don't know if he can win. He looked really, really good last week at the Barbasol. He can hit it a flat mile. I thought he would win by 5 even after Saturday, but there's something that puts him to stall mode. I don't know what it is, that having him at 18% ownership is just somewhat problematic for me. But I still love Luke List and how talented he is. Who else is Lebioda? The ownership, well, he's in the 7s. I won't go to him yet. Never mind. I did not mention that name.
That's all right. You can talk about him and we can.
No. I'll wait. Herbert. I'm a huge Herbert fan, but the transition from Euro Tour to PGA, it's a big leap. His ownership looks really good. He can hit it a mile. He does a lot of things well. He's very competitive. I just don't know the translation from that tour to this one has not been fantastic for a lot of players over the years. Kazire, I'm with you. Kazire puts up a ton of birdies. When he's on, he's on. Was it John Deere Classic? Yes. Like him and Lebioda was just a show. Eagles, birdies. I love Kazire because he can putt the daylights out. He's just an amazing putter. And I think the ownership, surprisingly, I mean, it's pretty good at 11% projected. Here's the one name that it's going to make everyone ill. And you know what I'm going to say?
Stuart Sink?
Is what? No.
Stuart Sink.
Okay.
I will never play Stuart Sink or Brendan Grace. I don't know if we talked about that beforehand, but I'm saying it again.
Gary Woodland.
No.
Okay.
That may also be a never play. It's
I'm out of guesses.
Ricky Fowler.
You're playing Rick. All right. Sell us.
Look at that single digit ownership for Ricky. A guy who hasn't, I mean, yes, Saturday was terrible for him at the Open. I know that. Sunday, I mean, he was what, 6 under? He's playing a lot better. He can make a ton of birdies, especially with his putter. And, I feel like I just was really shocked at that projection, which probably is correct. I am going to be heavy Ricky Fowler.
So Tambo and I have tried this, 20 times over the last year. Justin has never fell for it. And he's just
loving life over here.
Raking in all the Fowler bucks.
I shall continue to not play him until he proves otherwise. But I mean, the field stinks. I get it. I don't mind Herbert. I'm on the fence with Herbert. At that, I wish he was a little cheaper, but I think that's interesting in GPPs. Any thoughts on Fratelli? Any Fratelli thoughts?
I'm saying no to Fratelli.
Week.
Played well last week. He's a bomber,
That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm saying no to Fratelli.
Okay, no Fratelli. We know that Wiley wants to talk about Lebioda. We can start transitioning into the 7K range. And if Luke List is getting, up there at 36 years of age, I think we could have the next Luke List in Doug Gim. I think Doug Gim profiles as, the next Luke List. He's 11 years younger. And people have talked about him for a while. He started to show some upside at times. He disappears at times. But if you look at the last 50 rounds in this field, Gim is 6th in tee to green, 8th in ball striking, 4th in strokes gained approach, and 124th in putting. So if you want, $200 cheaper version of Luke List and 11 years younger, you can play Doug Gim. But Wiley, I'll let you talk about Lebioda too.
Okay, so this is the range, obviously, where you need to make your money. It feels like the entire field is priced in the 7K range this week. There's 1,000 players here. And you can make a case probably for every one of them. So Lebioda, if you, without projection ownership, I thought Lebioda is a name I would really want. And then sub 8, I thought that was pretty good priced. When he played at the John Deere Classic, and he had some luck boxing moments, I admit that, but he made everything from every distance putting. He is a phenomenal putter. The problem is that he's second projected to DJ at 25%. And I'm not sure that's something you can gamble on at that price range, considering the amount of good players below him are at the same price. That would be the only thing holding me off from Hank. I'm not huge on Gim. I will jump down to a maybe more mid-priced Ches Reavie. I have a small addiction to him. He's sub 5%. I think he's just amazing tee to green, a very efficient golfer, and I think he can put up a lot of birdies. EVR, Eric Van Rooyen. Now, his form has burned a lot of people recently, and so his minuscule ownership projection probably warrants that. But if you do some digging on EVR and why he has connection to this area, it may change your mind as to why he potentially can perform well. So I I am going to go out on a limb with EVR this week in that range. I mean, listen, I could talk about every player here. Patrick Rogers, Johnny Vegas. I'll talk about one more. It's Hagee. All right. So the other addiction I have is Brendan Hagee. Brendan Hagee hits it a mile. Brendan Hagee putts really well. Again, John Deere Classic. If you want to comp this to a birdie course, he kind of imploded a little bit on Sunday under the lights as the final pairing, but Brendan Hagee they always price him wrong at 7.2, and this projection, I don't think he is a lot of risk for your lineups.
Yeah, interesting names in this range for sure. You can get about 2 or 3 or even maybe even 4 of these guys in a balanced type of build. I like Mito Pereira a lot. His ownership is finally coming up a little bit, but this was a guy that had 3 straight top 10s on the Korn Ferry Tour, back-to-back wins. That got him up playing at the PGA Tour level. Missed the cut the first week, and so everyone kind of forgot about him. But made the cut at the John Deere and then played in last week's Barbasol Championship, which was the alternate field event that we've referenced a few times throughout the show. And he finished in a tie for 5th. Gained, let's see, tee to green. He was 4th in the field behind Luke List, Sam Ryder, and Bo Hogue. So 4th in the field, tee to green, and lost just a touch with the putter and still finished inside the top 5. So talented golfer, 7,600. I will put my stamp on him in that range. And then, a note on EVR. Everyone was talking about this.
Who'd you stamp on? Who'd you stamp on?
Mito.
Yeah.
I like
Circle
Mito.
the Drain killed me last week at the Barbasol because he played Mito. So
I like it.
I need to learn more about him.
Van Rooyen is an interesting one. I'm glad Wiley brought him up. I probably would have forgotten. But Noto, you remember last year where everyone was talking about the collegiate narrative with EBR, and he was 20% owned.
It was 20-1.
Yeah, and he went. Yeah, somebody really got him. Got the momentum going on Twitter, and everybody was betting him down. Now nobody's talking about him. He's only gonna be about 2% owned, and he still went to college in Minnesota. Still grew up in the area despite missing the cut here last year and missing a lot of cuts this year. But I don't mind going back there at similar logic and much lower ownership. So I like that in GPPs. Noto, you got some takes in here?
Yeah, I do like EVR. I was going to bring him up as well. I love Mito, so I'm glad you brought him up. Yeah, his ball striking has just been awesome last couple of events. So at a birdie fest like this, I like him quite a bit. I generally try not to fade guys just strictly based on ownership. So I do think I'll have a little bit of Lebiota, definitely not 24% or whatever it ends up being. But I mean, he's been really good. The stats all look good too. I know a lot of it's been short game, but you're going to need that this week if you want to make all those birdies. I like the Doug Gim call. And then funny story about Patrick Rogers. Got to Nashville. I was all excited to download the DraftKings Sportsbook, because we don't have it in Utah. So I'm making my bets for the week, and I tried to do a Rogers top 10 for $45, and all of a sudden it says it's reviewing it. And I was like, that's kind of weird. And then I looked a couple hours later, it's $450. So I need some Patrick Rogers top 10 action this week.
Oh, it's for this week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck with that. They had to review your $45 bet, you high roller. Make sure you're not gaming the system there. Other thoughts? It looks like Kyle Stanley's going to get some ownership in this range. If you're into the Barbasol stats, Sam Ryder gained over 11 strokes on approach last week. I'm not sure what to make of that. But anybody that gains over 11 strokes on approach in a week and finishes inside the top 5, and he's priced at $7K the next week at the 3M in the week field, why not? I'll play some Sam Ryder at 4% in GPPs. Wiley, you got anything else you like in the 7 to 7.5K range?
I never get Sam Ryder right at all, ever.
I haven't played him a whole lot, so I'll let you know.
I haven't played him a whole lot. I never get him right when I do play him. James Hahn looked really good last week. James Hahn had to call. He called the pro shop for a caddy last week at the Barbasol, and they gave him a rental caddy, and
Didn't he shoot a 60?
He shot a 60, nearly a legit 59, very close. But James Hahn just barely didn't win on Sunday. I blame PXG, by the way. Hopefully it's not a sponsor. But James Hahn looked, I think he's in better shape. He looks healthy. He looked strong last week. And what is he? He's 7.1. Yeah, James Hahn looked good.
Yeah, pretty decent stats across the board last 50 rounds. So that's an interesting call in that range. Some of these guys are really intriguing for tournaments because there's just so many decent plays in here relative to salary that the ownership is kind of going to get spread out a little bit. So, Noto, you got anything else you like above 7,000?
Yeah, I like Pat Perez a little bit. Just a guy that's pretty good all around. Quietly 10th in this field in birdie or better rate. And then I like Bo Hostler, not a guy that I've played a ton over the years, but the recent numbers are a lot better. Gained off the tee in 4 of his last 5. We know he's a great putter. He has gained on approach in 3 of his last 5. So he's quietly turned a corner. I think he's interesting, especially as a pivot off of Kyle Stanley. You know, Hostler's a guy that's going to make a ton of putts, and Stanley's a guy that's just going to tilt you for missing those 6-footers. So I like that as a pivot in that range. And that's pretty much it for me. Bo Hogue, I think he'll be popular, at least more popular than we have him right now. But he was really good last week at the Barbasol too.
And if you're into the FedEx Cup narratives, you know, the guys that have to play well to stay inside the top 125 and make the playoffs, Hogue is right there at 125. So he needs to have some good finishes. Only one spot behind Ricky Fowler, who's in 124th. If you want an indication of how much of a struggle it's been for old Rick this year. So not that you put a lot of stock into that, especially 4 weeks out or whatever we are from the playoffs, but just wanted to look and see who was right on the line there. And it's Fowler and Bo Hogue right up against the 125 line. So, all right, let's go ahead and move into the 6Ks and get ready to wrap it up. We'll have to wrap it up here in about 10 minutes. To get to the NBA live betting show, Grind the Line, I believe it's called. Hopefully you got that right. All right, nailed it. And before we do that, we'll get our Guess the Golfer segment in here. Guess our random golfer punt play of the week. He's only going to be about 1 or 2% owned. This is going to be a tough guess, I think. Last week we had a ton of guesses flying around the last couple weeks. He's under... I'm going to make this a little bit easier because A, we're short on time, and B, it's a tough guess. He is under 6,500 on DraftKings. Under 6,500, our favorite punt play of the week that we think could help round out your rosters. Hopefully we'll do as well as Scott Brown did a couple weeks ago. So before we get to that punt golfer, Noto, some of your favorite under 7K this week.
Yeah, I haven't done my usual deep dive yet. So this is a very surface level take for me, but I like the way Roger Sloan's been playing. He's a guy that can kind of gain strokes in all facets. He can make a lot of birdies. I don't mind him. Moving down, there's one guy that I know Wiley will bring up. If you did study that PGA splits near water, strokes gain. So I'll let him bring him up. And then Satoshi Kodaira is interesting. He's been gaining a lot of strokes putting recently, and he's always been really good with the irons. Rates out well in the proximity numbers that I was looking at too. So those would be the guys I'm looking at. But again, I'm not planning on having a ton of exposure to the 6K range.
We did have one person in the YouTube chat ask, by the way, about Adam Schenk, who we have always given grief for finishing, his make the cut but finish 50th. Has actually shown some upside his last couple events and had a legit chance there at the John Deere. So, Noto, I know you've needled him in the past, but any interest in Adam Schenk, who's in the 7Ks, I think?
I always play Schenk. He's good for a cut, and he makes more birdies than everyone around him. So, yeah, I always like Schenk.
All right, Wiley, who are you looking at for some value picks?
I think the money is in the 7s, and I'm just not a ton I have confidence in this price range. I think it's priced pretty well this week on DraftKings. I think the one that Derek was talking about, and I'll have to look at his reaction when I say this, is it Chase Seifert?
Yep.
Okay. So Chase Seifert's a Florida guy. I know that I know that he has he's top 10 on that list in terms of guys who play well around water. And admittedly, he's like, I just grew up around it in Florida, so I have no problem with it. I think Chase Seifert comes out at certain times. I played him last week. I got killed, and just has a really, really good ball striking week. So he's one I'd think about. I always think Wes Roach makes a lot of birdies. He didn't do it for me last week. I'm not going to mention Norman Jong. I'm glad.
Oh yeah, we got to bring him up.
No, you can, but I'm not. The guy, and I know I've said this a million times, and he's a friend of mine, and he lives in Lexington now, but Josh Teeter he makes a lot of cuts. So Josh is extremely good off the tee. He hits a lot of fairways, which you need to do here. He has a lot of narrative about, FedEx Cup points, his tour card, and doing well on tour, especially getting his first win. Teeter is probably, unbiasedly, one of the best mid sixes guys who you can count on to make a cut, especially at a course like this. And he did extremely well last week. Not surprisingly, it's in his backyard, but I think he could even do better this week. I could go in on Cam Percy or Von Taylor. Lingworth played well last week. Wyndham Clark, I love. I just don't know if Wyndham Clark's a good enough iron player for a course with a lot of water. Duffner played well last week. I don't know. I mean, so I've got Sink on my no play list, Grace on my no play list, and then I think I'm adding Robbie Shelton.
If you want the FedEx Cup narrative, I still have the standings up. Seifert's 126, so he needs to move up.
That's who it was, right?
Motivation.
He's got the motivation angle to move up from 126 there and pass Fowler when Fowler.
And by the way, do they ever get Cage Lee right? I mean, Cage Lee, he won recently, right?
Yeah.
And he's always high sixes. He's 6.6 this week. I mean, he's a tour winner, and he's a great iron player.
I guess it's just his inconsistency. They just figure, well, we'll price him there every week.
It's wild.
Noto, you got any other hot takes?
We got to talk about Panda.
Sorry. The winner of the Guess the Golfer Teeter was the correct answer there. So congrats, Devin will hook you up.
All right, good.
Beat Boss. But yeah, the Panda, I felt like I lost so much money on him when he first came on tour. We thought he was going to be the next best thing. And then after that, I stopped playing the young guys. So then I wasn't playing Wolf and Hovland and Morikawa when they first won. So yeah, Panda owes me a lot of bucks, and I'll get him back this week. We know he's long off the tee. He's been playing pretty good on the mini tours, I guess. So he's worth a shot.
Where is he? Where's he at?
63, I think.
6,300. So I will probably watch that from the sidelines. We'll see. I haven't finalized my player pool yet, and I don't know. I don't want to get sucked into the Panda, but the Twitter banner will be fun if he plays well. So if he's playing well, I want to be part of that. So, all right, Wiley, you got anybody else before we get on out of here?
No, that's it. What did I tout? Like Fowler?
Fowler and Seifert have good weeks, and not Stewart Sink. And
good show for you guys. I touted Fowler and Finau. Way to go.
An EVR.
Yeah, there you go.
There's your roster. GPP winner for the week. Should be fun though. Again, another one of those events where it's not a bad idea to embrace some variance with some water out there and plenty of birdies to be had for guys who are rolling in putts. And then the Olympics next week, which is just 50 golfers, I think. I don't know. It's not a lot. We'll have to see what contests are offered, what the format is and stuff for the Olympics. Have not gotten that far ahead in my research just yet. So we'll keep you posted on our content plans for next week. But as always, we appreciate you checking us out. Have Devin drop the promo code in the chat if you're interested in signing up for Rotogrinders Premium Access. You can get $10 off your first month. So check out that link, which will be in the YouTube chat if you are watching us live. Congrats to our winner on the Guess the Golfer game. And before we go, just a little quick spot here on Prize Picks. And you know, it's funny. Noto and I independently, if you didn't watch us last week, Prize Picks is a site that you pick kind of over under finishing positions, or you can do like longest drive. They got a few props. Basically, you're picking over unders and you can parlay them together. And so Noto and I were looking at these independently. We did not talk. And we came up with the same exact 3 picks of like the 12 or whatever that we're on. We, you know, it wasn't, we had to pick from 12 or 14 different ones, and we came up with the exact same 3. So this is your lock guarantee. We'll probably end up going 0 for 3, but I think we had Devin take a screenshot of it. So we got Keegan under 30.5 finishing position, DJ under 17.5, and Matthew Wolf over 27.5. So if those come to pass, good week for Noto and I, depending on how Patrick Reed does. So, you know, we'll have to take opposite stances on Reed so that one of us gets him right this week. But check them out. Prize Picks. They've really come along with their interface and stuff here over the past couple of years. So appreciate you checking them out. And let's see. If Devin can get in my ear, do we have any promo code or anything for them? Oh, promo code Grinders. There it is. Promo code Grinders. First deposit will get you 100% bonus up to $100. So, and you can take, you know, you can take all unders, you can take all overs. There are no restrictions. And you can parlay several of them together to help add up, just as if you were making a bet. So prizepicks.com, promo code Grinders. They have a pretty good app as well. You can get 100% deposit bonus on your first $100. So that is our show for tonight. Good luck in all of your contests this week. We will maybe be here next week, depending on how things look for the Olympics. If we are, probably a little bit of an abbreviated show with the smaller field, but we will communicate that as we go. So stay tuned. NBA live betting show coming up next for Game 6 of the NBA Finals. If you're watching us live, check that out. We've got, who do we got on that show, Devin? Keach, Grant, and Dean on that'll be an entertainment value in and of itself for the NBA Finals Game 6. We'll see if the Bucks can bring it home. Noto, you're the NBA guy. Bucks get it done tonight, or we got Game 7?
My heart says Suns because I won Game 7, but I think the Bucks take it down.
All right, you heard it here first. Going to Game 7. I hope. I'm kind of with Noto. I'd like to see a Game 7, and kind of rooting for the Suns for no real reason other than be nice to see them make it a competitive series and get it to a 7th game. So for our buddy Matthew Wiley, thank you for joining us on short notice. We appreciate it. And for Noto and our producer Devin, handling a huge slate of shows tonight. We appreciate all of you checking us out as well. Leave a thumbs up on our YouTube video if you can. Helps those algorithms, and we appreciate that. So have a great week, everybody. Good luck, and we will catch you later.